Welcome, Crystal Gate, playing From Glory to Go, and today I'm going to show off the swarm. Due to the fact that this swarm has a stronger captain than other, it is a stronger captain than most other captains, getting skills that benefits the captain himself is more useful for the swarm than for most other captains. The obvious exception would be the Savant.
On my way. Go, go, go.
Normally a disadvantage with a swarm is that you have no units to guard your buildings. But I did roll some starting units, so that one won't be a factor.
On my way.
The swarm's main strength is economy. The first advantage is that the swarm doesn't rely on having things travel from your base to wherever you're going to build. You basically start building instantly no matter what. Second advantage is that you spend resources as you build rather than in advance. So when you have built 10% of a building, you have spent 10% of the resources, and so on. This is a great help, because for other captains, if you want to build something, you need to have the resources at hand. But for the swarm, you only need to have the resources at hand when the building finishes. So that's a big advantage. I also got, as a level up ability, Swarm Collaboration, and Swarm Collaboration makes the swarm help with building. The swarm will basically building without spending any resources. Unfortunately, when I'm playing like this with no pass, I'm not so good at taking advantage of it. The swarm is one of the captain where playing with no pass is an extra big advantage, because you can really maximize the usefulness of the swarm in a way that you can't really if you have to play in real time.
On my way. On my way.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
I think that the grenade launcher is usually the best weapon you can get early, but since I'm playing with the having gotten the crystal in structure, which lets them take one hit for free, it nerfs the grenade launcher far more than anything else. I think something like the shotgun or, well, the machine gun barely gives a damn about crystalline structure. But I do think that the shotgun is probably the best weapon in that situation.
Orders received.
We're under attack.
I think as a concept, the Swarm comes off as a better version of the Savant. The Savant really just no special units, but gets
We're under attack.
you to use skills far more often. Well, as long as you get those borrowed reactors, that is.
We're under attack.
The Swarm does by default have a 50% cooldown reduction. And if I get additional cooldown reduction, that's on top of it, so this effectively means that any cooldown reduction is like twice as good for the Swarm as for other captains, except for, in a lot of cases, the Savant.
We're under attack.
On my way. Orders received. Attack. On my way.
The Savant does have a lot of the advantages that the Swarm does.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
I made a big screw up with power.
Defending.
I'm with the swarm also going to show off the generic strategy. I think that works for robot faction with unit composition.
No promise.
It shall be.
Commencing.
The swarm is very interesting in it that it's both a way of having a stronger captain, but also economizer to a large extent, specialized in having
We're under
better
attack.
economy.
Orders received. Engage.
I have built both grenade droids and spark locks. The spark locks are going to need some sort of help though, because
Yes.
the problem if you combine grenade droids and spark locks is that the spark locks have a much shorter range than the grenade droids. So if you attack me with them, the spark locks are going to end up in front of the grenade droids, which is what you don't want.
We're under attack.
Affirming.
We are going to need some way of overcoming that problem, though it's
Orders received.
rather easy trick actually. Well, it's not really a trick.
I am a robot.
We're under attack.
Affirmative. Yes. On my way. Okay.
Oh yeah, if you want to build something that costs a lot of ore, a building, one good tactic you can use is that you spend all the ore on units and then build that building and move the swarm next to it. The swarm spends resources as you build, and if you don't have the resource it won't spend, but the swarm collaboration that costs the swarm to build buildings will still work. So it means that you can build something that costs ore for almost no ore by having the swarm do more or less all the building. Well, almost all. I wasn't really able to take full advantage of it because I played no pause. And it's the same. The swarm will also expand much quicker than the other due to being able to park itself next to the spreaders and speed them up.
On my way.
That said, if you use the swarm really effectively to basically maximize the amount of buildings you get for free, you will get very powerful for it. That said, a real fun thing begins with when I get the forge up and is able to buy some high tier items.
You're under attack.
For the swarm I do have salvage tesh, which lets me buy high tier items in the forge. And the swarm is the one who can take best advantage. I do have the enhanced suit for the captain, and what that one will do is to it will greatly reduce the cooldown. I got an improved version, so I get even more cooldown reduction than normally. But if you play a survival map, you can just pick the enhanced suit, and then with a swarm's natural 50% cooldown reduction, you get a total cooldown reduction of 70%, allowing you to spam skills more than 3 times as fast. That said, you will use up a lot of energy with a swarm. So it only works if you can spam the skill with different swarm members. Oh yeah, and here comes the solution to get the spark locks and the grenade droids to work. IFVs. The IFVs have the same range as grenade droids, but then they have the ability to put units, and then I put spark locks in. Well, the IFVs are going to keep the spark locks out of range. They are going to keep they are going to stay at the same range as the grenade droids. The fact that the spark locks can't really shoot at when the enemies are at the same range, it may look like it will make them less useful, but it's actually an advantage, because this means that the grenade droids and the IFVs themselves can take out all the weaker trash, usually like thrashers, hoppers, and the infected soldiers. from afar, and it's only tougher units like the biters who will be able to get close mostly, and as soon as they get close, the sparklocks will all just unleash on them.
On my way.
But yeah, if I had chosen the same tactic with, say, something like the automaton, I would have gotten less amount of grenade droids and IFVs due to a weaker economy, but on the other hand, the units would have been stronger. But then the swarm itself is much stronger than anything that the other captain, save for the 7th, can
We're under attack.
produce.
On my way.
Engage ally.
Item robot. Friend.
We're under attack.
Orders received.
Oh yeah, the IFVs also have the ability to shoot much faster than the grenade droids. This has an advantage. It means that they will usually
Orders received. On my way.
land the first hit on an enemy and get rid of the crystalline structure.
Okay. Affirmative. Okay. Affirmative. Affirmative.
We're under attack.
In progress. Affirmative.
Opponent.
In progress. Human. Human affirmative. Orders received. Human.
Opponent.
Defending. Aye.
We're under attack.
When it comes to the drone bunkers that are there for defending against, well, not waves, but just stray enemies, I usually use 1 grenade droids and 2 sparklocks. But I think that having 1 grenade droids and 1 heavy support droid is better, although it's more expensive as well.
Engage. Ally.
Orders received.
I have placed one scrapyard really well in that it affects 2 smelters. But I should have placed a second scrapyard to get the final smelter as well.
Order. Engage.
Affirmative.
Okay, I moved out the troops from there, but I'm going to have to move them back down to intercept the horde. The robots do not really have many good towers, at least not compared to humans, I think. That said, some are swearing on the flame tower,
We're under
which
attack.
I haven't been able to find that much use for.
In progress.
But yeah, with the robots, I pretty much always meet the swarm with my troops. I will of course put them behind walls, but it's usually the troops that, the clearing troops that will have to handle the swarm as well, or the waves.
Engage. Engage.
And right.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
On my way. On my way. Ready.
We're under attack.
Orders received.
It seems that as soon as I move units away from a place, the enemies will attack it. Fine, but this game used to work so that you would occasionally get some surprise tunneler or surprise stinger or biter making its way to the starting base, and if that happened, the attack would almost without fail come from the opposite end of where the captain is positioned.
Start. Okay.
Well, second wave is defeated mostly by just having numbers.
Order.
We're under attack. We're under attack. We're under attack.
There is right now no specific goal other than just expanding and getting more. Although a milestone will eventually be the forge, so I can start buying items for the captain.
We're under attack.
After upgrading a building on the ship, I did realize that this was almost useless because I'm going to hit the final wave for the first round now of colonization in not too long, and after that I'm going to lose the ship. Speaking of ships, this is probably one of the best ships to get as a start ship for the robot. The free scanner helps a lot at the beginning, especially on set on the other maps. You can usually just look where there's going to be grass and such, but in set you often don't see from the beginning where you should expand. So this helps a lot actually. I think I'm somewhat lucky with the map in the sense that oh yeah, I have a good choke, a relative good choke points for this super map. But yeah, I'm making a mistake. I started building the first of the high economy building formation. That is, I started to use turbo modules and water modules. But what I then did was building a lot of grenade droids. Problem is there that this will now slow down the buildings to a crawl. I also built a lot of other shit. I should have just waited for the economy buildings to finish and then built everything else. In fact, they are not yet finished. The turbo modules are still building. One of them I think has come up, but yeah. And they would have been finished ages ago if I hadn't built a lot of stuff prematurely.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Engage.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
You know, when it comes to the spreaders, in order to avoid having them destroyed, what they really should have done, a very obvious solution, is this to just build them a step back and not build them as much forward as I can.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
On my way. On my way. Order received.
Hello. On. Ready. Move.
We're under attack.
Next. Passport.
We're under attack.
Affirmative. Yes. Affirmative. Yes.
We're under attack.
Yes. En route. Go. Affirmative. En route. Okay.
On my way.
We're under attack.
I do have my second high economy setup
We're under attack.
almost going. I should surround them with storages.
Defend. Defend.
We're under attack.
The reason that I back my drone bunkers up with a flak cannon is because I choose the crystalline structure, the flak cannon. So what it will do as main purpose is that it will hit the enemies once and then remove the crystalline structure so that the heavy support droids and the grenade droids will deal damage from the first shot. Any additional damage that the flak guns does to an enemy apart from the first shot is often wasted. But still it is rather useful to ensure that you get one hit.
Go. Friend. Road. Ready. Hello. Ready.
We're under attack.
The final wave for the first round
We're under attack.
is coming soon, but I'm pretty much ready. Oh yeah, it will pay us to get some more crystal income before the map finishes, because I'm going to then start a new ship, so that will allow me to just jumpstart the economy a bit. Although it also does matter less, because I also have more income from other things.
Commencing. Affirmative.
And that was the first round. We'll see what I get for power-ups then.